Welcome back, everyone. Well, it's no secret that we're living in a time that doesn't really honor diversity maybe the way we would like. And lo and behold, we've always got our eye out for interesting things that are going on in the community that really sort of pay tribute to the culture and different ethnic backgrounds and all that. Well, a good friend of mine, Gordon Boyd, who is a board member at the Bethesda Episcopal Church, actually is about to celebrate the life of Harry Burleigh, and we're about to tell you who that is. So, Gordon, welcome back. You're wearing a different hat today. I forget why you were here the last time. But
one of my other hats.
Yeah, one of your other hats.
Yeah.
Harry Burleigh, highly regarded composer, turn of the century, with a very specific goal.
Yes, he specialized in the genre we used to call Negro spirituals, African American spirituals. Mm-hmm. And he got his start here in Saratoga Springs as a musician. He was recognized for his talent as a singer at Bethesda in the 1890s. He was enrolled at the National Conservatory of Music with the assistance of Mrs. McDowell, whose son was a very famous composer. And Burleigh became associated with Antonin Dvorak. He helped orchestrate the New World Symphony and may have had something to do with the inclusion of spiritual melodies in that work. And then he went on to become one of the premier composer-arrangers of African American spirituals in the country until he died in 1948. He mentored Marian Anderson, wow. Paul Robeson. Wow. So he really was, and he was part of the Harlem Renaissance as well. So he was a very significant composer. And Bethesda rediscovered our relationship to him a couple of years ago when we were writing the music history of Bethesda and ran across some sources that connected him to Bethesda. So this Friday is the 150th anniversary of his birth. We have collaborated very happily with the Skidmore College music department to put on a sort of a mini festival around this event, and there will be 2 talks and a recital at Skidmore in the Zankel Music Center on Friday, and then Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock at Bethesda, a service of lessons and carols that will include music by Harry Burleigh. We have engaged the musical talents of a baritone soloist of great renown, Stephen Salters, who has been with operas all over the world and is coming here to sing some of Burleigh's work. He has recorded Burleigh. He's an expert in interpreting Burleigh's work. So we're really delighted to be able to offer this, especially, as you say, at this time when celebrating cultural diversity is somewhat of a man bites dog story.
Yeah, you got that right. You know, you covered so much ground there, Gordon. I want to go back on a couple of things. You have to picture it's early 1900s, right?
Yeah.
Again, Saratoga always a drawing card for a lot of different reasons. You know, it was the mineral waters and then it was horse racing and all that stuff, but it managed to bring a very diverse crowd in. And he came to work in Saratoga as a wine
steward.
Steward, right.
Yeah, at the Grand Union Hotel, which occupied the entire block, Broadway, Washington Street, Congress Street, Federal Street, except for where Bethesda Church is. And right. The rector of Bethesda at the time got to know some of the African-American young men who were working as wine stewards. He got them over, got them singing. They had special services and recitals for them on Sunday afternoons. The church was filling up with visitors and people that wanted to hear these kids sing. And Burleigh's voice stood out, and that was how he was discovered by Mrs. McDowell. Yeah.
Right. Now, he went on to attend National Conservatory of Music, which I think became Juilliard, right?
That's right.
True?
Yeah.
And became involved with Dvorak and that symphony,
yeah.
Became a composer in his own right, primarily known as baritone voice, though, right?
Yes, he was also a famous solo baritone, and when he got down to New York, he auditioned for baritone soloist at St. George's Church in Manhattan. He was, the music people there wanted him, but the congregation never had a black person worshiping with them, so they had to have a vote. And it came out as a tie vote, but the tie was broken by J.P. Morgan, the banker, in Burleigh's favor. Now, he also became the cantor at Temple Emmanuel on Fifth Avenue near the Metropolitan Museum. So he was really big time in New York.
You know, you talk about people who are ahead of their time. You know, it strikes me that way. You know, let's face it, we all face challenges in our life. Can you imagine back then, around the turn of the century? A lot of correlations to today, unfortunately, but the whole idea that you're Afro-American and you've got challenges, and he just seemed to walk through a lot of these challenges and establish himself as somebody who was a seminal figure of the first half of the century.
And he was very well recognized. The NAACP has had the Spingarn Citizenship Award since about 1912, I think.
Yeah,
and the third one that they gave went to Burleigh back in 1915. So he was recognized, all over the country as a key person in advancing African American music and culture and raising it up to a higher level. His particular legacy, I think, is in taking the Negro spirituals, which were really had African roots. They were sung in the fields by the slaves, and he brought them up to art song quality, so that piano accompaniment, solo voice, a concert setting, formal. This was his legacy, and that's what we will be presenting Friday night at Skidmore with the soloist Mr. Salters, and also to some degree on Saturday at Bethesda.
Right.
Friday at Skidmore, Saturday at Bethesda.
Good, Gordon. Let me give you the details again. Friday's December 2nd, 8 p.m. There's a concert at Skidmore. And also a discussion too, right? And you get to learn a lot about who this individual is and the influence he's had on contemporary music. And then Saturday at 3 p.m., it's free at Bethesda. It's right off Broadway. What's the name of that street?
Washington Street. It's right behind the Gap store.
You can't miss this. This is a turn of the century gorgeous church, by the way, with quite a history to itself. And at 3 p.m. on Saturday, December 3rd, is a service with a lot of music and a lot of discussion. Really, I encourage you all, just find out more about this person. It helps, it's our community, and enriches us. Well, Gordon, thank you very much for coming in.
My pleasure.
Great to see you as always, and I'll see you there on Saturday.
Okay, great. Yeah.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.